Imagine waking up in the middle of the night, not because of a noise, but because of a silent, invisible pull that drags your hand toward the cold glow of your smartphone screen. You unlock it, and suddenly, you are flooded with the curated highlights of everyone else's existence. Parties you weren't invited to, promotions you didn't get, vacations you can't afford, and lives that seem infinitely more vibrant than the silence of your dark bedroom. This specific anxiety, this heavy weight in your chest that whispers you are falling behind while the rest of the world races ahead, is not just a bad habit or a quirk of the digital age. It is a profound psychological fracture known as FOMO, or the fear of missing out, and it has quietly evolved into the defining social disease of the 21st century, enslaving our minds to a reality that doesn't even exist. To understand why this feeling cuts so deep, we must peel back the layers of modern civilization and look at the primal wiring of the human brain, which was never designed for the infinite connectivity of the internet. For our ancestors, thousands of years ago, being part of the tribe was not a matter of popularity, it was a strict matter of survival. If you missed out on the group's migration or were excluded from the communal fire, you would likely die alone in the cold. Today, our biology has not caught up with our technology, so when you see your friends gathering without you on an Instagram story, your brain triggers the same fight or flight stress response as if you were being abandoned in the wilderness, turning a trivial social exclusion into a perceived threat to your very existence. The danger of FOMO lies in the fundamental lie that social media sells us, the carefully edited highlight reel of other people's lives, compared against the messy, unedited behind the scenes of our own reality. We scroll through polished images of flawless skin, perfect relationships, and career triumphs, forgetting that we're looking at a performance, not a documentary. Nobody posts photos of their panic attacks, their mounting debts, or the quiet desperation of their lonely Friday nights. By constantly measuring our self-worth against these illusions, we engage in a game that is rigged to make us lose, convincing ourselves that everyone else has figured out the secret to happiness, except for us. Silicon Valley engineers have weaponized our psychology by designing apps that function exactly like slot machines in a casino, utilizing a concept called intermittent variable rewards to keep us hooked. Every time you pull down to refresh your feed, you don't know what you're gonna get. Maybe a like, maybe a comment, or maybe nothing at all. And this uncertainty causes your brain to release a spike of dopamine, the pleasure chemical that drives addiction. We have become lab rats in a global experiment, constantly seeking the next hit of validation, terrifyingly aware that putting the phone down means disconnecting from the flow of information, which only fuels the fear that something important is happening right now without us. FOMO is not just about social exclusion, it is also deeply rooted in the paralysis of choice that defines the modern era, where we are presented with limitless options for how to spend our time, who to date, and what to watch. In the past, you might have been content watching whatever was on the single TV channel available, but today, with thousands of movies on Netflix and millions of videos on YouTube, choosing one thing feels like losing out on everything else. This opportunity cost anxiety renders us unable to fully enjoy the present moment, because part of our mind is always calculating if there is a better option, a better party, or a better partner just one swipe away, leaving us in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction. The tentacles of FOMO extend deep into our wallets, driving a consumerist culture where we buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't even like. The advertising industry has masterfully hijacked our fear of missing out by creating artificial scarcity and time-sensitive deals, making us believe that buying the latest iPhone, fashion trend, or luxury experience is the only ticket to belonging in the cool crowd. This relentless pursuit of the lifestyle we see on our screens often leads to severe financial anxiety and debt, as we trade our future security for the temporary and hollow validation of looking successful in the present. Perhaps the most tragic casualty of this syndrome is the death of genuine intimacy, famously described by Sherry Turkle as being alone together. Walk into any restaurant, cafe, or family living room, and you will see groups of people physically present with each other, but mentally transported elsewhere, their eyes glued to the glowing rectangles in their palms. By constantly prioritizing the potential connection with someone online over the actual human being sitting right in front of us, we erode the depth of our relationships, signaling to our loved ones that they are less interesting and less important than the infinite stream of data on our phones. When the sun goes down, FOMO transforms into a sleep thief, keeping us trapped in a cycle of revenge bedtime procrastination, where we refuse to sleep because the night feels like the only time we have control. We lie in bed, promising just 5 more minutes, but those minutes turn into hours of doom scrolling through bad news, memes, and arguments, bathing our retinas in melatonin-suppressing blue light. The result is a generation that is chronically sleep-deprived, anxious, and biologically out of sync, waking up exhausted every morning, only to grab the phone immediately and restart the damaging cycle all over again. We have effectively eradicated boredom and solitude from the human experience, and in doing so, we have lost the space where creativity, self-reflection, and identity are formed. Solitude is not loneliness, it is the fertile ground where we process our emotions and understand who we truly are without the noise of public opinion. But FOMO makes us terrified of silence. We plug our ears with podcasts and fill our eyes with feeds the moment we are alone because we are afraid to be left with our own thoughts, leading to a shallow existence where we are constantly consuming the world but never digesting it. The antidote to this poison is a radical shift in perspective known as JOMO, or the joy of missing out, which is the emotionally intelligent realization that missing out on what others are doing gives you the opportunity to check in with yourself. JOMO is the satisfaction of saying no to invitations that drain your energy, the pleasure of a quiet evening spent reading a book, and the liberation of knowing that you do not need to be everywhere to be someone. It is about trading popularity for purpose and understanding that by missing out on the noise of the world, you are finally tuning in to the frequency of your own life. Recovering from FOMO requires a practical strategy of digital minimalism, which doesn't mean deleting the internet, but rather decluttering your digital environment to serve you instead of enslaving you. This involves aggressive curation, unfollowing accounts that make you feel inadequate, turning off all non-human notifications, and establishing sacred phone-free zones in your bedroom or dining table. By intentionally creating friction between you and your device, you break the automatic habit loop and reclaim the autonomy to choose when you engage with the digital world and when you simply exist in the physical one. Psychologically, FOMO is fueled by a scarcity mindset, the belief that you don't have enough. So the most powerful countermeasure is the active practice of gratitude, which shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present. When you catch yourself envying someone else's vacation or success, take a moment to look at your own reality and acknowledge the simple, often overlooked privileges you possess: health, a roof over your head, a genuine friend, or a hot meal. This isn't just spiritual fluff, it is a cognitive reframing technique that rewires the brain to find satisfaction in the here and now, rather than despairing over the there and then. We must make a conscious effort to touch grass, literally and metaphorically, by engaging in hobbies and activities that require physical presence and cannot be experienced through a screen. Whether it is gardening, painting, hiking, or playing an instrument, these analog activities demand a flow state that makes time disappear and renders the validation of social media irrelevant. When your hands are dirty with soil or paint, you are reminded that you are a biological being living in a physical world, not just a user ID floating in a cloud of data. Ultimately, overcoming FOMO forces us to redefine what success means on our own terms, rather than accepting the generic definition handed to us by algorithms and influencers. You do not need to travel to Bali, start a startup, or have six-pack abs to have a life worth living. A quiet life filled with small kindnesses, deep connections, and personal peace is just as valid, if not more so, than a loud life performed for an audience. Once you realize that nobody is actually watching you as closely as you think they are, you become free to live a life that feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside. The 21st century offers us everything all the time, but the secret to happiness in this age is the wisdom to choose less. So as this video ends, I have one final request for you. Do not scroll to the next video, do not check the comments, and do not look for the next dopamine hit. Instead, put your device down, turn off the screen, look around you, and fully inhabit the one moment you are actually guaranteed to have, this one. Because the only thing you should truly fear missing out on is your own life.